Hello students, welcome to the new lecture, and in this lecture we are going to start with the blood vessels, arteries, veins and blood capillaries. These are the three types of the blood vessels in our topic. Okay, so we are going to discuss about it along with this topic. We are going to discuss about the cardiac cycle. So there are three types of blood vessels. These three types of blood vessels are arteries, okay, veins and blood capillaries. These three are the blood vessels that are involved in the transportation of the blood, okay, transportation or circulation of the blood throughout the body. So first, what is meant by artery? What is artery? What is vein? And what is blood capillary? So it is completely, these blood vessels are differentiated based upon the type of blood transportation and also diffusion of the nutrients. Okay, if you see, let us consider this is the heart. Okay, heart, from the heart to body parts, there is a blood vessel that supply the blood. Okay, from the body parts to, okay, from the body parts to heart again. Okay, from the body parts to heart again. So there is another type of blood vessel. So this is known as arteries. Arteries are nothing but these are the type of blood vessels that will carry blood from the heart to body parts, and the blood, and also veins are the blood vessels that will transport or that carry blood from the body parts to heart. Okay, so this is the artery. Okay, arteries will divide into fine branches, and again these fine branches will turn into a vein. Okay, artery, blood capillaries and also veins. Okay, so these are the three types, of the blood vessels. Okay, so what is meant by, what is the use of artery? Arteries are going to carry oxygenated blood. Okay, oxygenated blood from the heart to body parts. Okay, and the blood capillaries are involved in the exchanging of the nutrients. Means, let us consider these are the tissue. There is a tissue, and to the tissue the blood will be supplied, to the tissue the nutrients will be supplied. So how the how the nutrients are supplied? So here the blood capillaries are one celled thickness. Okay, the blood capillaries are one celled thickness. Okay, this is the blood capillary. Okay, so here the nutrients, well, the blood is flowing through the blood capillary, what will happen? The nutrients will come out. Okay, through the small pores the nutrients will come out, like glucose, vitamins, amino acids, everything, they will come out, and these nutrients will be taken up by the cells. Okay, it means we can see there is exchanging of the nutrients, not only exchanging of the nutrients but also the gases. The cells are going to take oxygen. Okay, the cells are going to take oxygen. It means from these blood capillaries the gases are being exchanged, and also the nutrients are also being exchanged. So this is the reason the blood capillaries are one cell thickness, and they are responsible for the diffusion of the gases and also nutrients. And next one will be the vein. These blood capillaries all they join together and they forms a blood vessel. That blood vessel is known as vein. See here, will be the oxygen is rich, nutrients are rich. Okay, and what is happening over here? So the oxygen will be released, and also nutrients will be released. As a result, here the carbon dioxide will be rich. Okay, why? Because the cells are giving the carbon dioxide to the blood capillaries. And also the waste materials, are also rich. Why? Because the cells are going to give out the waste into these blood capillaries. So as a result, carbon dioxide and waste materials, they are being carried by these veins. Okay, so these veins are nothing but the blood vessels that carry blood from the body parts to the heart. So here, if you compare the thickness of the arteries, veins, and blood capillaries, so what thickness that do you see? The thickness will be different, varies from the blood vessel to blood vessel. Here you can see the artery. So how much the diameter, how much length of the wall will be? So the diameter will be more. So see here the diameter, how much diameter is there? So diameter is more. Why the diameter is more in the artery, and why the diameter is less? And why the diameter is less in the vein? And why the blood vessels, blood capillaries are very thin and one cell thickness, completely based upon their function. So if you see here, the arteries are going to receive blood from the heart. It means the blood is going to pump blood, from the blood is being pumped from the heart to body parts to the through the arteries. As a result, there is a huge amount of the pressure in the artery. So to withstand the huge blood pressure, the arteries should be stronger. so their wall should be thicker, and as a result they are stronger and their walls are thicker when compared to the veins. If you see here the vein do not have much pressure. Okay, vein do not have the much pressure. As a result their wall should not need not to be much thicker. Okay. Next, if you see here the lumen is very very narrow. There is a narrow lumen in the artery. New lumen is nothing but the space, the inside channel where the blood flow through, that is known as lumen. So to withstand this pressure also the lumen is very very thin. And also if you compare the veins, the lumen is larger. Okay, there is no blood pressure first of all. So if there is if there is less blood pressure, what should be? The lumen should be larger. If the lumen if the lumen is larger, there is a chance of more blood flow. Okay, as a result the lumen of the vein is more. And the blood capillary has one cell thickness. See here, this is one cell, this is one cell, and this is one cell, another cell, and also another cell. So why blood capillaries are made up of one cell? Why? Because if they are made up of one cell thickness, what will happen? There will be gaps between the cells. So through these gaps nutrients can escape and oxygen and carbon dioxide being exchanged. So this is the reason the blood capillaries are one cell thickness. See here, so these blood capillaries are mainly involved in the escaping of the nutrients or being exchanging of the nutrients, gases, and also leukocytes migration. So through these blood capillaries the leukocytes are the WBC, they will come out. So why they will come out? Why? Because wherever there is infection or wherever there is injury, there the leukocytes has to go there and they have to fight. So this is the reason the leukocytes are also going to move away from the blood capillaries. Okay, so this is about our three types of the blood vessels: arteries, veins, and also blood capillaries. Okay, so now we will discuss about few important points about these three types of the blood vessels. So first, structure and function of the blood vessel. Next, artery and vein. So here the thickness of the artery is much thickness. If you see the thickness of the blood vessel in case of artery, it is very very thick, and the thickness is in the vein is thin. Okay, the walls are present in arteries are absent. Let us consider this is the artery. So in this artery there is no blood vessel, there is no walls. Why there is no need of walls? Why? Because there is huge amount of the pressure. So as a result, due to the presence of huge amount of the pressure, there is no need of walls. But in case of veins, what will happen? So first of all, there is no blood pressure. Very very less blood pressure is there. So as a result, to move blood from the leg to the heart, what is necessary? So the walls are necessary. What these walls are going to do? When the blood is trying to move downwards in the opposite direction, these walls will close. As a result, blood cannot move in the opposite direction. So always the blood has only one choice, that blood has to move in the forward direction. Why? Because of presence of these valves. Okay, these valves are present in the veins. Okay, so next, capacity to retain shape when the blood is absent. First of all, the artery can retain their shape. Why the arteries can retain their shape? Why? Because the wall thickness is more in case of artery, and while the vein do not have the thickness. Okay, so if the thickness is less, there is a chance of collapse, means they cannot retain their shape when the blood is absent. So direction of the flow of blood is from the heart to organs. The arteries are going to carry blood from the heart to body parts. Okay, heart to body parts. And the next thing is veins is reverse. Okay, from the body parts to heart. Okay, so this is in case of arteries and this is in case of veins. Okay, so next is pressure in the vessels. Okay, the pressure is more in the artery. Okay, why? Because directly heart is pumping blood through the arteries to the body parts. So as a result, high blood pressure is maintained. And here you can see the from the body parts blood is being pumped to the heart through veins. As a result, the pressure will be low. So as a result, the thickness is not necessary, the wall thickness is not necessary, and also as a result there is a presence of walls is also necessary. Okay, So next, type of blood. Which type of blood is going to travel, is being traveled? Okay, the type of blood transported is oxygenated in case of arteries. Arteries have to transport oxygenated blood. Why? Because if from the heart, here the heart is going to have the oxygenated blood in the left ventricle. As a result, this systemic aorta is arising from the left ventricle of the heart. As a result, it will carry oxygenated blood to the all body parts. And here the vein is going to carry deoxygenated blood from the body parts to the heart. Which chamber? Right atrium. Okay, so this is about it, and in the textbook we have the few questions and we will try to answer these questions. So first question is that discuss the difference between the pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. See here, the pulmonary, the word pulmonary refers to the lungs. Okay, here they are saying that artery. So generally arteries will carry oxygenated blood, but in case of pulmonary artery it is opposite. So even though pulmonary artery is a artery, it is going to carry deoxygenated blood, means carbon dioxide containing blood. So pulmonary vein, even though pulmonary vein is a vein, it is going to carry oxygenated blood or oxygen containing blood. So remember this. So the type of artery in the blood that carries deoxygenated blood is only the pulmonary artery. Next, the type of artery, the type of vein that carries, okay, only oxygenated blood is pulmonary vein. Okay, so here the pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle of the heart to the both lungs. Okay, right ventricle means here. Let us consider this is the heart. Okay, so this chamber, this is right atrium. This is the right ventricle. So this is the left ventricle, left atrium. So it means from here the deoxygenated blood will be transported to the lungs. Okay, to the lungs, and from here to the from the left ventricle oxygenated blood will be transported to the systemic aorta. Okay, from the systemic aorta all different types of blood vessels are there. Those blood vessels are nothing but arteries. Okay, so here these two chambers are involved in the deoxygenated blood, and these two chambers, okay, are involved in the oxygenated blood, means right side chambers are involved in the deoxygenated blood and left side chambers of the heart are involved in the oxygenated blood. Okay, so next is observation of arteries and veins in the activity 4. In this activity we have to do small experiment, that is you have to sit on the table. One leg is dangling freely, means moving freely from the bench. Another leg should be sit on the back of the knee which is resting or dangling freely. So after some time a series of small movements will be seen, means you are going to see a pins and needles. Okay, pins and needles means small kind of a pain will be seen. So you can feel that someone is poking your leg with pins and needles. Such kind of a sensation will be seen. Okay, and this is one thing. Why this is happening? This is happening because, so if you sit in this position, the blood supply will be stopped. As a result, due to the blood supply due to the stopping of the blood supply, so the tissue will not get enough amount of oxygen. As a result, that person will feel pins and needles due to the unavailability of fresh blood or oxygenated blood with nutrients. Okay, so next is swing your arm several times to fill the blood in the veins. Okay, and hold arm vertically downwards, means your arm should face towards the ground, and press gently your finger along the prominent vein. Okay, so what you will see stroking in the reverse direction, means now the blood is trying to move towards the heart but you are stopping it. Okay, it means indicates that your the veins are involved in the transportation of the carbon dioxide the deoxygenated blood to the heart. Veins are involved in the transportation of deoxygenated blood from the body parts to the heart. You can know from this experiment. Okay, so next question, can you see the swelling where you have pushed the blood against the walls? Yes, you can see the walls where you can see the swelling where you have blocked. So artery walls are very strong and elastic. Why? So artery walls are very strong and elastic. So due to withstand the pressure of the blood which is exerted by the heart. So this is only the reason arteries walls are stronger and elastic. So next question is why we compare arteries like trees which divide into smaller and smaller branches. Let us consider this is a tree. So how the tree will be? The tree will be going to divide into branches and branches. Okay, branches and branches. So this is the general structure of the tree. Okay, here what is happening? Let us consider this is the heart. Okay, from the heart, the systemic aorta is arising from here. This is the systemic aorta. The systemic aorta divides and divides and divides and so on. It is going to look like a tree. Okay, it is going to look like tree. So these all are known as arteries. This is known as arteries. Okay, so hence they are comparing the division of the systemic aorta like branches of the tree. Okay, and again these arteries are going to divide into arterioles into blood capillaries again into venules into veins and so on. So this will be looking like a tree. Okay, so the lumen size is bigger. The lumen size is bigger in veins when compared with artery. Why? Lumen size of the vein is larger to carry more volume of the blood. Why more volume? Why? Because the lumens due to the less amount of blood pressure. So due to the presence of less amount of the blood pressure, so if the lumen is very narrow, what will happen? The blood will not flow freely. So if the blood flow is even though if the blood pressure is low, the lumen size is larger. In that condition, the more amount of blood can be transported. So this is the reason why the lumen of the vein is larger. Okay, so next one will be the cardiac cycle. So what is meant by cardiac cycle? The term cardiac means heart. Cycle means the events, the sequential events that repeats and again and again. It means these are the events that are occurring in the heart again and again, that is known as cardiac cycle. So the definition for the cardiac cycle is the sequential events of contraction and relaxation of atria and ventricles in the heart, that is known as cardiac cycle. So these events are cyclically repeated. These events repeats again and again, again and again. So the human heart starts beating around the 21st day. It means when the embryo, so embryo, or you can call it as a fetus. Okay. So when the fetus is around 21st day, the heart starts beating. For example, if the heart don't start beating, in that case the fetus, okay, so fetus is going to die. Okay, so this is the deciding factor for the fetus whether it has to survive or not based upon the starting of the heartbeat. Okay, so the blood from the vena cava, okay, vena cava and pulmonary veins enters into the right and left atria. So here you can see this is the, let us know, this is the heart. Okay, so what you are seeing, the blood from the vena cava and also pulmonary veins, okay, enters into the right and also left atria in the cardiac cycle. So in this chamber, okay, the atria, into the atria, so this is the vena cava, superior vena cava and also inferior vena cava. Through superior and inferior vena cava, the blood is going to enter into the atria. Okay, which atria? Right atria. Okay, vena cava are going to release deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. At the same time, into the left atria, there is another blood vessel, that is pulmonary vein. Okay, this is known as pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein. It is going to release oxygenated blood into the left atria. Okay, so in this condition, when the atria are relaxed, they are going to fill the blood. So now what will happen? They will contract. Okay, when the atria relaxed, the blood is going to fill, and when the atria contracts, what will happen? So the blood will be pumped into the next chamber through a valve. What is that valve? Okay, so this is the tricuspid wall and this is the bicuspid wall. They are also known as, okay, auriculoventricular walls. Why we are calling it as auriculoventricular walls? Why? Because they are present between the when they are present between the auricles and also present between the ventricles. Auriculoventricular walls here will be the tricuspid wall. Okay, the same time here also auricle and also ventricle, between the auricle and ventricle there is a wall. So auriculoventricular valve. Okay, So tricuspid and bicuspid. Tricuspid means three flap like structure. Here it will be three flap like structure will be present, three flaps. Okay, this is one flap, this is one flap, and this is one flap. Bicuspid means only two flaps. Okay, so both atria are contracted. This is known as systole. When the blood is completely filled, they are going to undergo systole. Systole means contraction. When they contract, what will happen? The blood will flow to the next chambers. Okay, when the blood flow to the next chambers, what will happen? So these ventricles are going to fill with the blood. So when the ventricles are filling, what will be in their condition? Their condition will be in relaxed condition. Their condition will be in relaxed. So when they are completely filled, what will happen? Now these ventricles will contract. These ventricles will contract. When these ventricles contract, what will happen? Here will be the right ventricle. Okay, here will be the left ventricle. So when the right ventricle and left ventricle contracts, what will happen? The blood which is present over here is going to get transported to the next tubes. Okay, next blood vessels. So this blood vessel is known as pulmonary artery. Why it is pulmonary artery? Just now we have discussed the type of artery that carries only deoxygenated blood is the pulmonary artery. So here will be the systemic aorta. Systemic aorta. So why? Because this is the oxygenated blood. The oxygenated will be carried from the systemic aorta. Again, systemic aorta will divide into many branches. These branches are known as arteries. Okay, so by this way, here you can see when the auricles are contracted, the ventricles are in relaxed condition. When the ventricles are in contracted condition, these auricles are in relaxed condition. Okay, vice versa, opposite. Contraction means relaxation, relaxation means contraction, opposite. So by this way they are going to get operated. So here you can see when they are contract, the blood is being forced. Here you can see we have drawn the rough diagram. In the textbook we can see such kind of diagrams. Okay, so this is the vena cava, superior vena cava, or you can call it as a precaval vein. This is the inferior vena cava, you can call it as a postcaval vein. So inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, they are going to release deoxygenated blood into which chamber? This chamber. This chamber is known as right atrium. At the same time, in this condition, this chamber is in relaxed condition. At the same time, this chamber, left atrium, is going to receive blood from the pulmonary veins, both lungs. From the both lungs, it is going to receive blood from the pulmonary veins, and it is going to fill the blood. So when they are filled, they are going to contract. As a result, the blood will move into the next chamber, that is known as pulmonary. They are known as ventricles. Okay, right ventricle and left ventricle. So again, when they are contracted, the blood will be pumped to this position. You can see this tube. Okay, this is pulmonary artery. Okay, it is going to carry deoxygenated. This is systemic aorta. Okay, it is going to carry oxygenated blood. So here will be the division. Okay, systemic aorta will divide. So this will be lung, towards the one lung. Okay, this is the left lung and this is the right lung. Okay, so by this way the blood will be pumped. Okay, you can see the movement of blood. So from this chamber to this chamber to these tubes, and so on. By this way the blood is being pumped. You can see the indication of the arrows, so where the blood is being pumped. Okay, so one ventricular contraction, the blood pressure. On ventricular contraction, the blood pressure increases, forcing the tricuspid and bicuspid walls close forcibly. So it is going to create lub sound. So lub sound is known as sharp. It is known as sharp sound. When the lub sound is created, tricuspid walls, and also bicuspid walls. When the tricuspid wall and bicuspid wall, when they close forcibly, they are going to create a sound, sharp sound, that is known as lub sound. So this lub sound is mainly responsible for the closing of the tricuspid and bicuspid walls forcibly. Now the question is, why the tricuspid wall and bicuspid wall closes forcibly? So why? Because when the ventricles contract, okay, as a result the pressure increases. Due to this pressure, these tricuspid and bicuspid walls closes, leading to the creation of lub sound. Here you can see when these ventricles, okay, when you see when these ventricles, okay, right ventricle and left ventricle, when they close, when they contract, what will happen? The walls are going to close. Which walls? Tricuspid and bicuspid walls. It is going to create lub sound. Okay, at the same time dub sound will be created. When the dub sound created, dub sound is dull sound when it is created. Now when the ventricles are relaxed, okay, when the ventricles are relaxed, it is going to create a dull sound. When the ventricles are relaxed, the walls are going to create a they are going to close. Which walls are going to close? Pulmonary wall. Okay, pulmonary wall plus systemic wall. Okay, here you can see the pulmonary wall. This is systemic wall and this is the pulmonary wall. The systemic wall and pulmonary wall, they will close. When they will close? When the ventricles relax. When the ventricles relax, pulmonary wall and also systemic valve closes. When the pulmonary wall, systemic valve closes, it is going to create a dub sound. Okay, now why they close? Why? Because if the pulmonary wall, systemic valve do not close, blood will backflow. Again the blood will come back to the ventricles. So it should not happen. So to prevent the backflow of blood, these valves will close. Okay. So lub and dub sounds are created due to the forcible closing of the valves. Lub sound is created due to the forcible closing of a tricuspid wall and also bicuspid wall. Okay, when the ventricles are contracted. Dub sound will be created due to the closing of a pulmonary valve and also systemic valve when the ventricles are relaxed. Okay, so here the atrial contraction is also known as atrial systole. Remember, systole or contraction both are same, requires 0.11 seconds to 0.14 seconds, and ventricular contraction, it requires 0.27 to 0.35 seconds. So both ventricular contraction, both auricles and ventricular relaxation, so occurs in 0.4 seconds. Okay, so the whole process is completed approximately in 0.8 seconds. This is the time taken. Okay, so the tissue will not receive the blood continuously. The tissue will be received, the blood will be received by the tissues in spurts. Why? Because here you can see the ventricles are going to contract and relax, contract and relax. When the ventricles contract, what will happen? Okay, blood flow. Okay, blood will flow. Okay, when the ventricles relax, when the ventricles relax, what will happen? Blood will stop. Okay, again ventricles contraction. Okay, blood flow. Okay, means blood flowing, stopping, flowing, stopping, flowing, stopping, and so on. So here the based upon the contraction relaxation, the blood flow is not continuous. It will flow in the spurts. Spurts means little by little by little the blood will flow. Okay, so in our body the flow of blood in the blood vessels is not continuous. It will move in spurts, means discontinuous. Okay, flowing stopping like this. So hence the blood supply to the tissue is discontinuous. It can be observed in the pulse. So keep your two fingers on the wrist, okay, and observe carefully. So there is a blood vessel. Okay, there is a blood vessel. This blood vessel will move up down, up down, up down, and so on. So why the blood vessel will move up down, up down? Why? Because when the ventricles contract, okay, especially which ventricle? Left ventricle. When it contracts, blood flow will be there. When the blood flow is there, the blood vessel in the wrist will rise. When the ventricles relax, blood flow will stop. As a result, the blood vessel will move to the back position. So in this way, when the ventricles contract, again the blood vessel in the wrist will move up, and when the ventricles contract, blood flow will stop. Again the blood vessel will come to the back position. So this will be observed. Okay, here the rate of the pulse will be equal to the number of heartbeats. If the heartbeat is 100 times per minute, okay, 100 times per minute, so the pulse rate will be 100 times per minute. Okay, why? Because here the pulse rate is completely depending upon the heartbeat. So this is the reason it is dependent. Hence we can say the pulse rate will be equal to the number of heartbeats. So by measuring the pulse rate, we can measure the heartbeat. Okay, here the names of some animals are given, their body weight and also weight of the heart and also number of heartbeats per minute is given. So here the blue whale, its body weight is this much, okay, 1,50,000 kgs. Heart weight is 750 kgs. The number of beats per minute is 7. So only 7 times it is going to beat. Okay. So next elephant is 3,000 and so weight of the heart is 12 to 21 kgs and the number of beats per minute is 46 and so on. If you see at the cold board, it's 8 grams only. Its complete body is 8 grams. 0.15 grams is the heart. Its number of beats is 1,200. Okay. So this is the table explaining the heartbeat of different organisms. Okay, heartbeat and also weight and body weight of the different organisms. Here will be the single and double circulation. What is single circulation? Single circulation means the flow of blood only once throughout the body, that is known as single. Double means 2 times. Here we can see the single circulation definition: the flow of blood through the heart only once for the completion of one circulation, that is known as single circulation. Double means the flow of blood through the heart twice for completion of one circulation. So that is double circulation. So here the diagram, with the help of diagram you can understand clearly. So see here, this is the circulatory system of a fish. Okay, so this is the heart, this is the heart. Okay, these are the gills. Okay, and this is the body parts. Okay, it means the heart is pumping the blood to the gills. Here the deoxygenated blood, blue color means deoxygenated. So deoxygenated blood will be converted into oxygenated, red color means oxygenated, supply to the body parts, again they are converting into deoxygenated from the body parts and also moving to the heart. Okay, here you can see the circulation of blood through heart is only once. Okay, here you can see only one loop. Okay, here you can see only one loop, hence it is known as single circulation. But if you see in animals like human beings, so the heart is receiving blood twice. How? So here to the two chambers. Okay, so first blood is entering to the these two chambers only. First blood enters to the left side chambers, move to the lungs. Okay, moves to the lungs, again from the lungs to the again this chamber. Okay, again to the this chamber. So it means the same blood is moving through heart 2 times, making a 2 loopholes, that is known as double circulation. So that circulation is systemic circulation, also pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation means related to the heart. Okay, heart to lungs, again from the lungs to okay heart and so on, that is body parts and so on. So here there is a 2 loops. Okay, systemic circulation is one circulation and also pulmonary circulation is another circulation. So this is known as single and double circulation. Okay, how many times did your pointer touch the body parts in figure 11a and b? That is only one time. So how many times did your pointer touch the heart in the figure 11a and 11b? That is one time in 11a and 2 times in 11b. How many times did your pointer touch the respiratory organ in the figure 11a and 11b? That is only one time. Okay, these are the questions that is given in the textbook. And I hope this lecture is helpful to you. If you have any doubts or questions, feel free to post in the comment section and we will answer your questions and we will clear your doubts. Okay, and we will discuss the next topic in the next lecture. Okay.